So this is what a flag wave looks like. Yeah, wave. Software. Hopefully it doesn't like close on you while you're like 3 hours in. Don't forget to save. Then you remember you can't save. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's export to nothing because you can't export to nothing. But if you want to export, you would have done it like this. You could either do it as a project, as a sequence, clip displays there. So, right? So project would export the whole project if you had multiple scenes. If you were going to do clip display as in one clip would be one scene, right? And you could always export as a sequence. Sequence meaning um, those images sequence like the whole video. Yeah. But the formats are different. You can export as a PNG, which is a PNG sequence, as a sequence of images that have the different drawings on there. Or you can actually export as, there would be one here for MOV with a FFmpeg, and that would be export as a movie. In some cases, it's almost always better to export as the individual frames. Reason being because sometimes there might be flaws in it and you can just change that one frame rather than the whole video. Yeah. So I'm gonna close this. We're gonna go through the whole camera movement thing. I'm gonna try different background this time. Right. So your background. We're gonna just jump into Krita. You're all familiar with Krita. Krita. You could do this in any animation, I mean, digital painting software. There's so many out there. There's Medibang, there's Kim, there's Photoshop, there's Krita, there's MyPaint. So while Krita is loading, let's look at a few images. So I got a few things here. So some examples of these little background things. Right, so if you look closely, and I'll just borrow that image, create a new file, and I can create that, go even bigger, perhaps, oh, oh, so let's change the height. The height is going to be 768 0. I can change the resolution to 72 pixels per inch because I'm just working with my screen. Oh yeah, oh, I need that. I don't. It's fine. All right, so the height we're gonna change to it can stay as this, just for the sake of being interesting. I'm just gonna go work with this kind of a height here, 1920. Right, because I'm taking into consideration the size of what I'm going to be using, which would be the camera. And I'm just gonna draw a layout that's based off that. So I don't think it came out too right. All right, let's change that. Um, so, oops. So I have a background here. We kind of worked with a background recently. Let's change this. So I will go this way instead. So image canvas size. I'm gonna change the image size itself. I'm gonna just kind of rotate the whole thing 90 degrees to the right, giving me something that looks like this. Okay, hold on, it's loading. Right, so we have this. Now let's say you want to do kind of a scene where somebody is, they're looking up from the sky, looking at the sun, some clouds are surrounding the sun, and then afterwards they're down looking towards the ground and there's things on the ground. Right? So how do you draw a scene like that? We're gonna do a quick layout. It's gonna be a little tricky because typically screen orientations are towards that. So let's do a really quick layout of something. So I'm gonna do it in dark gray or black, and just use a really simple soft brush, probably this pencil crayon looking brush, right? So we're assuming if you're looking up at the sky, what would it look like? Because whenever you're drawing 2D for camera movement, it's a lot different than if you're just drawing for us that still movement. Because you have to consider the perspective and the warping of the camera, the panning, the tilting, the zooming, all these different factors that play a role in getting an effective looking shot. So, for example, I might start off with example the sun as my focal point, and because I'm looking up at the sun, I'm imagining clouds being, you know, hold on, 9, 20 by 10. Right. Let's move that up a little bit more. All right, so it starts off clouds, just whoa, 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 whoa. Are you still moving? Stop moving. Just gonna move that there. Press enter to confirm. While that is confirming itself, I will just draw some clouds. Looking right. Just imagine some clouds surrounding that thing. But also imagine not only clouds surrounding it, but I also want to imagine what it would look like while I'm looking back down. So it starts off looking nice, but then eventually it's going to trail off into looking like something that I'm looking down the ground towards. It's going to start stretching and elongating like this, and eventually come across like that. Clouds and clouds and clouds, cloud things and all these different things, right? Just play around with that. Maybe while it's there, there's some mountains in the horizon. So just kind of warp your perspective again. So while that's being warped, you can have some hills. You draw your hills and your valleys and your now maybe there's some background clouds in there. So I'm just keeping everything simple for now. Just making a simple little layout, right? And maybe there's a river, right? Maybe there's a river. What's that river gonna look like as we're coming down? And not only just coming down, but what if we're looking at the river from above? Oh, well, that's that's more interesting, isn't it? Perhaps I'm gonna put a cliff right at the end here, edge of a cliff right here, and you're gonna have that falling falls there. Have a rock perhaps that trails off into that thing looking like that. Right? Don't forget your perspective. That's important. So I'm warping the perspective. So I know you guys did some perspective drawings earlier this semester. Um, so those are also useful. But it also helps in animation to be able to warp your perspective and just it kind of calls for a broader way of thinking rather than just thinking about the static. Think about dynamic looks and how things will look when certain things happen. It's gonna be all like that for a little bit, and eventually it's gonna be more like that. Can you imagine it? Looking up, coming down, oh no, okay. And eventually I'm looking down at some waterfall. So it's me playing with the perspective to a degree where, hey, here it's too close, isn't it? This part needs to be small. Let's change this. Eh, I'll just highlight this stuff and just highlight that section. The transform tool. Is that too small? Go even further. Um, yeah. So we're looking down at this here. So let's say it falls into a pool of water or some, and you know, steam and whatever. It is a short waterfall. We need more. Fine. Love all these critiques and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Let's find. Alright, so here, let's pull the perspective down some more, like far down, like all the way down this so. And somewhere down there, where we're seeing all that smoke and haze, we will see perhaps for some trees from above, some trees and things, and some more trees and some bushes and those little light shading, right? So some stuff going on there. All right, nice. So I'm just gonna create one more layer just to darken that a bit. And behind that layer, because I have two now, behind that layer I'm gonna create one more layer just for the sake of putting in some additional like shadows. It's a rough layout though. All right, so the layout is very, very warped. Yeah. So let's do one thing. I'm gonna hide these two, and I'll fill in the background layer with gray color. And then from there, I'm just gonna use my eraser tool at different levels of opacity to kind of just give the background some more depth. While that is cooking, how you do it? I feel that. I feel that. Yeah. Yeah. Um, this isn't a highly a stretch. March 6th, Ash Wednesday. So I can start with this, probably erase. I'm gonna create one more layer. Make that white. Yep. Hmm. So let's shade some stuff. I'm gonna lower the opacity. So if I want something more bright, I'll just go over it more than once. This is just me roughing it, right? So clouds are there in the sky. This is just rough work. Oh no. Some here, just some stuff here. And I'll go over it a second time because light is shining on the clouds, therefore it's causing some level of shadows or shading. Right, so that's not looking three bad right now. I'll just carry some stuff here. Right, I'm just going in there. Just keep it simply, keep it loose for now. What would probably helps me a little bit more is if I had those grid lines to kind of just determine exactly how my perspective is going while it's being distorted. But I guess based on when you look at how it looks when it's going down, it's kind of looking more and more like what it's supposed to look like. Yeah, I am recording. That was Devon Hamilton. You can check him out on YouTube. He does things. Yeah. Guys, nobody thought you were doing other things than jeez. Like music and things. Yeah. So this layer is all white and gray. And I'm just playing with just colors for now. Like the waterfall and things. And maybe sometimes you have those haze that that haze, that haze that's around the waterfall sometimes, that mist and whatever. And then okay. Some shadows here, some shadows there, shadows from a tree, more shadows from a tree. Um, let's continue more stuff. So we could make the ground green or we can change the color. I'm practically going to work with just the grays. Yeah. So the ground might be probably slighter, maybe darker here. Hmm. Mhm. Just adding to the layer. Hmm. Cool. Oh, wait. You, why don't you have a then add that to this. What am I doing? This is grass. Eee. Maybe have some patches here and there. And perhaps for the water, we make some varying degree of light gray of some sort. So it has a nice contrast against the to the background. Let us make this bigger. Boom. Now to kind of show depth, what I can probably do is kind of darken it as it goes down. See, falls off the waterfall there. Perhaps let's flip that white to black and probably cast a shadow somewhere here and here. And just overall cast a shadow over here. To show that hey, this waterfall is going down. Same thing for here as well. And you can add some of those white streaks just for the sake of, just have one of those like that. Same thing for here. And we have a really rough looking background. Sorry, it's so rough. That doesn't look like entirely. So I don't know how good that looks or bad. No, whatever. We're just gonna have to test it out when we reach. So some of that stuff there and some of this and that. So let's see what we have. And we're gonna call it, what do you call it? A wide shot, a long shot? Just a long shot. A long wide shot. Be a pan down. Yep. So we just jump into TVPaint. We pan it up or down. So we could take it both ways and see how it looks. So new, and remember, whenever you're doing a project with camera, make sure you have selected project with camera. Note the camera is only available in TVPaint Pro version. That's the one that we have on these machines here. So if you are planning to get TVPaint any at all and you choose to get the standard version, it's not going to have the camera effect. The camera has a tool in there. So if we look at my background, the width of it, the width of it is actually 1920 by height 7680, right? Because I make consideration for the size of the camera that's going to be there, because I know the width is going to be 1920 by 1080. So I make sure my width is 1920. And I'll just continue from there. So width is definitely for the camera is 1920 by 1080. The width of the drawing area, however, is going to be width 1920 by 7680. That's the entirety of my that. Yeah. Ooh, so somebody asked me an interesting question today about frame rate. Why is it 30 frames? Why do you have 24 frames versus to have 30 frames for animation? Does somebody think they have an idea? Why do you have for video you have 30 frames per second? Typically a 29.97 drop frame per second, and for animation you have 24 frames per second. Who knows why they chose 24 specifically? All right, I'll answer. So the reason is because 30 frames, when you divide 30 frames down to its smallest units, you're gonna get 24, 30 first. Then the two sides are 15. When you divide 15 in half, you get 7.5. For animating purposes, because we want to be able to control how much frames you have as whole numbers and also as for in-betweening purposes, we have 24 divided by 2, you get 12 divided by 2, you get 6 divided by, well, 2 you get 3, and now you can manage 1, 2, 3 frames and keep going. So that's the reason why. So that you're able to do the in-betweens and you can have single units instead of by zero point 0.5 values. So let's hit new project. Bam, so I have that. First things first, let's import our project. So one, I saved my file as a Krita file, but I forgot to save a JPG. I thought it was. So press save. So thing about file format. File formats are like this. We might use a tool like we might use Krita. Krita has a KRA file, and you might want to import into something like TVPaint, which is uses TVPP file format. So the thing is, you have to save it as a format that the other one can load in. Just like when you look at IT and they say you have a call it information processing cycle, input and output. So some files can only be read by certain programs, while certain files can only be read by certain programs. So if you're using Flash, you can't open a Flash file in Krita. You have to save it as a format that is readable into the other software. So that's that thing. All right, cool. We take as a JPG just now, and let's throw it into TVPaint. We go file, well not file, choose import. Let's import this thing. Import, and I want to import the JPG file. Bam. Press open. It asks you want to import footage? Of course I do. What type is that size? There's no audio attached. So import. And by default, we get this entire thing. Now, right now, I'm not seeing any camera views, right? Because I haven't actually put in any cameras. So all we're doing is panning from top to bottom, or we can go from bottom to top, whichever one we choose. And what I'll do is extend this length of the whole thing. Probably want to span for like, I don't know, 5 seconds. 5 seconds is how much in frames again? 12 times 5 is 60. 60 times 2 is that 120. So 120 frames. So before you start using the camera, one thing you want to have an idea of, because the camera works like this. You set a start and you set a stop. So when you start it, it knows it's supposed to go for the duration of that particular clip. That's how cameras work in TVPaint. It goes for the duration of the clip. So if your clip is 1000 frames, it's gonna transition for the whole of that. If you want a fast camera action, shorter clip at a time. So the less frames you have, the shorter it's going to be. So let's hit the camera button. It's gonna by default be in the center, and you can position where you want the first one to be. Do you want to start from the top going down? So start from down here, bottom going up. So all right. So if you want to move the camera and you want to keep the positioning in terms of X or Y, you have to hold Shift. Well, click first, hold Shift, move it up. No, go away. Wait till I'm done. So we start off here with these clouds, and to put the last frame, you just click again, and just yeah. So it's gonna create a tween. Put that Chevrolet favorite song, tween, and we can do that or scale in. So if you made the background bigger to facilitate zooming out, then you could always put stuff in there too. Cool. So now we have this whole thing is going across. Let's see what it looks like when you do that. You press play. So the reason why you're seeing it like that is because I have the camera. If I turn this on, that's to look through the camera view. If I press play, it's gonna look like that. Oh look, oh no, we're falling. No, no. Well, that's kind of fast. So by default, it goes at one constant rate. If you want to see the workload down, you have the time profile on the camera. Whatever property you want to the camera, right? Throw in squares. You know, and with the time profile, that just tells you that over time, the camera is going to move here, and you can actually just play the positioning if you want to. So right now it's linear, which is going to give me very jagged edges in terms of the interpolation of the movement. So if I want to be smoother, I can actually choose so let's say I want to start, and I'm going to move my frame back to how that works out. So if I want to put, let's say I want it to be very slow at the beginning. I'll just drop something there, put this down, you can start moving back up. So I'm going to start off slow, and then as I go towards the ending, it's going to go a lot slower. So I play it again. It's going to start off like this. Now, if this is too fast still, well, what we can just do is the following. I'm going to stop this because it looks too fast to me still. Extend it. Yeah. Because let's say you want to animate a bird flying, like somewhere a bird comes in, and you're yeah, you start traveling with the bird and the bird's going across and flying and stuff. So you could do stuff like that. Um, so here's how that works. So now the animation is like almost longer than well, a lot longer than before, but the camera is gonna move at a slower rate because the length of the clip is much bigger. So let's play that again. We're looking down, we're seeing some that stuff. We're following this across and we're going across and it's oh fall off the edge of a river and things. And now we're going across and we see TVPaint animation. Cool. That's how you can create something. Probably you want to throw a bird in there. Let's see if I can throw a bird in there. I would like my bird to show up just as we're about to fall off the cliff. So this part goes fast. I'm just gonna draw the image of a bird. So let's say my bird pops up here. On a new layer, I'll hit new anim layer and I'll just zoom into that. Because I'm basically gonna just pan this bird. I'm not gonna do anything else with that bird. I don't have a bird. So that thing there, just gonna do a bird that's like this. Ah, it's because I can't save this. Is kind of depressing to do all that work and then just throw it away. Yeah. Bam, it's a bird. Fine, let's give it a cape. Why not? Animation, you know. And you could have probably applied the wave principle we just looked about a while ago and just fling a cape on that bird, you know. Away. He left. No man, Nikki. Let's fling that bird in. So when is the pan? Here we go. Yeah, it's copying it. Oh no. Oh, oops. Let's do this on twos. Hmm. Yeah. And we'll stick our time. Hmm? Oh, it flies into frame. It's flying faster than the bird. Why must broke my record? My God. Now I've actually do work and edit it out. Hold on. What? I can see. Yeah, some 5 year plan. Yeah, you ever watched Sesame Street before? Yeah, and you know when the bird flies off the screen afterwards. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. Because this bird has a case of a stroke, and so bird is flying off the side. So I'm gonna rotate this bird off screen. And make sure you choose apply when you do something like that. And you know, you just move that bird somewhere else. Never. Oh no, that's fine. I just wanna press Shift K. That's gonna just delete that. So let's play this again. So let's say we're working on an animatic for a short, and you're like, okay, it starts off nice, panning through the valley, and while it's there, some birds flying. It's like, yeah. So then you could create something that looks like this, and it doesn't take too much time. I mean, like this is like sitting down for half a day. Once you have an idea in your head, it becomes a little easier, but it does take a little bit of practice. Right, and sometimes if you're still enough, all it takes is some observation to get the concept down, and then you'll be able to draw it. Right, so one is practicing. Some people might be skilled enough to kind of just get the concept, to break down whatever they see, and then simplify it into something that they can construct. Don't remind me, please. But I can't say it. Huh? I can't do this. It's a good thing I'm recording, because this will be like for an animatic, like I said, just rough work. You're preparing for example, let's say working on a group work, you see establishing shots, you want to show a valley, some waterfall, and then afterwards, waterfall, maybe there's something behind the waterfall or something in a tree somewhere or something. Then you can always probably do a second scene. Let's try and do a second shot. So let's say, um, we're here at the last part. Let me see if I can go all the way to the end. Here. And we want to just say, okay, so this is the first clip. Maybe clip number two, but add another one. Now, this part, notice the size of the whole thing is still big. Save my battery. Nice, except you're going to be animating on top of it and developing your background. Nice. You get like 3 or so weeks. Yeah, I'm criticism that. That's why I'm saying I can't wait for you to come up with that while transforming. Shift while transforming. I know. How about you? Move this here, and because it's this kind of a frame that we have to deal with, what I'll do is I'm gonna work with the camera. So I don't have a camera yet, so I'm gonna put the camera through there, and it's by default it puts it in the center. I don't have a problem with that, so I'm just gonna work with the centered camera, right? So that's fine for me. I can even just zoom in, and let's say my last frame, the last thing I saw was, you know, something going on this rock. So I'll play with this rock too. Like, okay, so clearly there's a river. There's some. Oops, my brush is not dark. So this will be the edge of the river, and inside the river there's gonna be rock. I mean, ideally you'd have all these scenes planned out, because you take it from your script, and from your script you get an idea of what the shots are gonna look like, and then you jump to storyboard, and then we could say, all right, the last shot had a couple, actually had one rock, and over there was a bush, and there was a tree somewhere there. But let's say we're gonna be right here, looking at somewhere around here, looking at stuff. So there was a rock in the river, right? So there's a river, and so river is flowing, and on the other side of this river was a bush of some magnitude, some bush. Yeah. So you have to, like, I'm just playing here. You just consider the angle and all that stuff, and yeah, it's a bush. Bush is all bushy and things. Pardon my roughness, but this is what they call layout. Like I said, just pre-planning before you actually do the actual layout. And I think there was also another. There's a tree there as well, so I might have to put that into consideration, or just draw two lines like so. Now for this angle, I'm not planning to do any movements at all, so it's just me doing that and probably just doing a quick line work, some that. And I could even, do this, jump into clip timeline and see the view, and whoa, let's extend this. So let's work with the whole idea behind an animatic now. So let's say I decide that, okay, for the sake of this thing, I wanna make it look like water is flowing. So I'm gonna create a new layer, and we're gonna have some flowing, yeah, some stuff flowing. That's one frame. Next frame, turn on my onion skin. Oh, oops, like that. And let me extend this. And we have there, and that's doing that. Some water coming here. Some stuff coming from this side. Sun coming around the corner. That one gone. And more around the edge. The same thing. And we're just continuing. Oh, well, Shift K, just clear that. And I probably should have done this. And and some stuff here. And perhaps you have some splashing going on. Splashing. A splash. Cram. Splash. And stuff. And the cool thing is, even though this is running for that long, I can just change this to a loop so that my river, yeah, there's a lot of, this must be some really fast river, right? So things happen. So maybe a splash happens occasionally. Maybe it happens just occasionally. I would just say, all right, cool. Do that and continue. And yeah, so it looks like this. Nice. All right, so then if we want to play the whole project, and this is just a clip, because I'm in clip timeline view right now. To play the whole project, it looks more like this. Let's go from first one. Press play. Start off with new. Then we have our super bird or something. New. Some bird just suddenly appears like bam. Goes from there to there and then just jumps to here. Right? So yeah, I wish I could have worked on this. All right, so I hope that helped a little bit and stuff. Yeah.